Hello and welcome to this video about Jaguar XK8 Door, Lock, Latch Microswitches. This is video 101 in my series of XK8 videos. In this video I'm going to show you how I remove my door lock and latch, and I've also included details about the microswitches and the loom details and potential replacement processes that I've found on the Jaguar Forums, and I'm just sharing you with you and some links. I've split the video down into 4 sections. Section 1, door microswitches, a brief look at those. Section 2, removing the latch in all its gory detail. Section 3, looking at the wiring loom in my 1996 Jaguar XK8. And Section 4, the new microswitches that you may potentially need to buy and how to use them, with reference to the Jaguar Forums. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in Jaguar XK8s or Jaguar XKRs, X100s. If you are, might I suggest you subscribe to my channel by pressing the rectangular red subscribe button with subscribe written on it, clicking the bell to be reminded when videos are aired, and click the thumbs up if you like the video or thumbs down if you don't. And if you have any questions or comments, please ask them in the comment section below the video. Okay then, first of all, start off with section 1, door microswitches. So there are 3 microswitches within the door latch assembly. The latch itself as a whole has part numbers left hand GJ1081BL for my year of car, and right hand BJ1080EE for the right hand for my model year. The actual revision letters may be different for your vehicle depending on the year of manufacture. Looking at each microswitch, there is a microswitch on the door handle lever, which is triggered by a plastic trigger there, and it has a spring return. You can see there the microswitch as it's blown up. All the microswitches are basically the same type with different lever arms. This particular microswitch doesn't have a lever arm attached. The spring return can tend to fail, but I believe people have used pen springs to repair their cars with that. So the spring can actually cause problems if that does break and fall away. The second microswitch is the door Ajar microswitch. This is this one here at the bottom of the lock itself. You can see it there in all its glory. This one has an armature in the front, but you can't actually see it as a trigger arm. And finally, the third one is the door lock actuator microswitch, which is on the end of the actuator. You can see the armature there, the trigger armature, sitting in front of the microswitch button. There's a bit more detailed photograph. As I say, all the microswitches are the same. It's just the steel arm that is different. And in the case of the handle one, it doesn't have one. We'll come into microswitch details later in the video. Door lock actuator then, I couldn't find a Jaguar reference part number only for the assembly, only the VDO part number is actually printed on mine, and I couldn't find any reference on the internet of spares. If anybody knows how to get these as an aftermarket, please let me know in the comments on the video. Section 2 then, removing the latch. How I remove my latch. I used a ratchet, T25 and T30 torqued bits, and a permanent marker pen. I actually removed my door card first. You can see the details of that in video 65. There should be a link in the top right coming up now. To look at how we need to remove the latch, the latch here highlighted in yellow is sitting behind the glass rail that supports the glass going up and down, and you cannot even though you can undo the latch, you can't actually get it past that rail, so you need to take the rail away, and that's the first part of the process. In order to get access to the area altogether, you need to put the window all the way up as far as you can, then you can get in past the rail, the glass rail. Before you do, after you've put the window up as far as you can, you need to disconnect the battery, because you do not want the window triggering down accidentally and chopping bits of your arm off. Now seriously, disconnect your battery. If you're not happy or confident doing this, do not attempt to do this procedure. It is quite risky, so please disconnect your battery. If you're interested in how to do that, I've done a video on that. It's video 56, and there should be a link in the top right showing you how to do it. Right, getting down to getting the glass rail out. It's actually fixed to the top and the bottom with one screw at the top and two at the bottom. The one at the top is located in a slot, so that's where your permanent marker comes in handy. You need to mark around that screw to make sure you put it back in exactly the right position that it started off in. The bottom, there's two screws either side of the window adjustment screw. You need to take those out. Those screws, if you're interested, are JZS 100117. Then you need to untighten the upper screw with your T30 Torx bit. Once you've done that, it will easily be unscrewed by hand. It doesn't take much effort once you've untightened it, got the torque off it. Once you've got the rail fixings out, you can just move it away from the glass guide and move it out of the car or into the bottom of the door pocket. The glass guides, if you're interested, left hand is GJA 1017AF, right hand GJA 1016A, and that's the rear rail, glass rail. There you go, there's my little anti-rattle strip still on there. Now you need to disconnect the door handle operating link with the latch lever. You just need to pull the bottom out from its little ball stud. The link part number is GJA 1159AA. If you're disconnecting the driver's door, you need to also disconnect the driver's door lock rod or link. These photos I've borrowed from the Jaguar Forums. These are from a thread from GGG, and he shows how to properly disconnect this link. You need to grab the black collar and pull it down, and the link will just come out of the plastic holder. So you don't need to pull at the bottom and get it's not a snap fitting at the bottom of the lock assembly, and that's the correct method of doing it. Thank you GGG for sharing that with the forum, and hope you don't mind me using it in this video and aiding other people. Once you've done that, you can loosen the latch bolts. Again, these are T30. They don't take much untightening. The bolts are DB48, 94, 93 if you're interested. Once you removed the latch bolts altogether, they fall out pretty easily. They come out again. They come out by hand quite easily. Once you got all three out, the latch now will drop into the bottom of the door. Once I've got this last one out, nearly there. There you go, it's dropped in. We're away. The latch is now loose in the bottom of the door. So now you need to remove the lock motor harness from the bracket and the door inner. In order to get that off the loom, you need to depress the tab as in a lot of these connectors, and it will pull the connector apart. It's easy as that. While you're there, have a look in the bottom of your door, because you might find an anti-rattle strip. And if you do, I suggest you try and have a look at putting it back on, because when you slam the door, the door will rattle, and this is the reason why. If you're interested in doing that, I've covered that at length in a video 70. There should be a link in the top right showing you how to get to that one. So get on further. Now you need to release the operating cable from the door handle. Now I've shown this after it's been disassembled. If you've got a motorbike and you're used to brake levers or a bicycle brake levers, this is exactly the same concept. So there's at the end of the cable there's a round T piece on the end, and that drops into the door handle, and it's as easy as that really. So in order to get it off, you need to push the handle into the lock position, or almost lock, it's got to be precise, because it has to line up perfectly. So maybe don't press it all the way home, almost home, and then literally pull the plastic clip out, and the whole thing should come apart. It's as easy as that. It does take a little bit of fiddling, but if you're used to working with bicycle brakes and motorcycle brakes, it shouldn't be a problem. The door handle itself does actually come off the door inner. It literally just slides on, and it's fixed by the screw that's put on with the cover. So don't be worried if your door handle actually falls off your door inner. It's not a panic. Then you should be able to just remove the door lock and the door lock mechanism from the door inner for you to have a look at the micro switches. Obviously the cable there is massive. You can't take that cable off until you've got the whole lock assembly out. So there you go. Got it out of the vehicle. In order to get at your micro switches, you need to remove this little screw. I should have added the screwdriver onto the tools. It's not strictly needed to remove it, but you need to remove this cover. Once you got that screw up, it doesn't come off. It took me a while to figure out how, but there is actually a little plastic pin moulded into this casing, which I'll show you into a second. You need to get a screwdriver and just lever it out. Inside the cover there's a little boss, and that locates into the bracket. So you need to put a screwdriver in the side of the plastic and just lever that out, and it all comes apart. Then this is the actual position, the hole in the lock or the latch that boss sits in. That's the retaining boss location point. So there you go. Lock and latch assembly is all there in all its glory, with the micro switches exposed. So section 3, the wiring loom. There are actually lots of cables leading to this lock assembly. There are 3 wires, there's pairs of wires for the micro switches, and actually the 3 wires coming from the actuator itself going into the big rectangular plug. I had a look at the only wiring diagram I could find from 1999, and this didn't correspond to the wiring colours on my car, and in fact I could only find 2 micro switches, so maybe I wasn't reading it quite as I should, but I could only find 2 micro switches, and the wire colours weren't the same. So what I would suggest is the wires may vary with your model year. So first of all, the door handle micro switch. This had BK, or black pink stripe, and GY yellow blue stripe cables or wires to it. The door Ajar micro switch had B black and G green wires, and the central locking micro switch, the actual lock actuator micro switch, had KB pink black stripe and YR yellow blue red stripe wires. The central locking actuator itself had SY slate yellow stripe, SB slate blue stripe, SR slate red stripe. And the lock assembly connector, if you're interested in what it looks like if you're trying to buy an aftermarket one, this is what it actually looks like with all the pins exposed. And that was you can see here the colours of the wires as they enter the back of the switch, or back of the connector, sorry. Section 4 then, new micro switches. How to replace your micro switch. Now there was nothing wrong with my micro switches, so I thought I'll not bother getting stuck in to replace them when they're not actually needed at the moment. So I did a bit of searching with my friends at Jaguar Forums, and there's some brilliant threads all about it, particularly from Dr. DSP. There's this thread here, replacing door opening closing micro switch, and there's 2 documents listed in his thread which are pretty superb, to be honest, and I'll just show you them briefly, and I'll attach the links within the comments of the video so you can pick them up directly from the Jaguar Forums site, and I recommend you do. And if you haven't already joined Jaguar Forums, please do so, because it's superb. Okay, the first of the documents is actually an Omron technical spec, and it shows the replacement microswitches. Now it says in that spec, it suggests you can actually use the Omron D2SW3L3MS microswitch. Now this microswitch itself, the D2SW, has several versions, but it's basically the same microswitch. As long as you get the 3 amp model, it's the same microswitch with different actuators: a plunger, a hinge lever, a simulated roller lever, and a hinged roller lever. And we're really interested in a simulated roller lever with lead wires. So that's where it comes from. But if you really were picky, you could probably make one of the other switches actually work. And in the case of the handle microswitch, it doesn't have any lever on it. So the part numbers suggested by that site were first the Jaguar part number C2N1908, which unfortunately is completely useless because it's no longer available, and this alternative, the Omron D2SW-3L3MS, we'd already mentioned. Now on that microswitch there's actually 3 wires, but you only need 2. There's only 2 wires on the microswitches in the Jaguar lock. On this new Omron microswitch, there's black common, red normally closed, and blue normally open. Now at this point I'd like to thank Mike Alford for correcting me on my original video where I got these the wrong way around. And just to emphasize, if you spot any errors in my videos, I'm very particular to give out the correct information. Please correct me in the comments, and I'll correct the video, re-record it if I forgot to. I'm very particular. We've got to get the information right. So the correct information is you need the black common and the red normally closed, not the blue wire normally open. Now, getting into the replacement procedure, I'm not going to go through it now, but this is the replacement procedure attached to that link. It goes into great detail how the microswitches work, how to replace them, how to fix them back on, which screws to use, countersinking the holes, etc. So please take a look at that document. Again, the link is in the comments. So thank you very much. I'd like to give a special thanks to the Jaguar Forums for that last section, in particular GGG and Dr. DPS for their very informative threads within the forum, particularly for door latch microswitches. So there you go. Door latches and microswitches in 4 sections, door microswitches roughly, removing the latch itself, the wiring loom in detail for my 1996 car, the new microswitches with the details from the Jaguar Forums website. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Hope that's helpful for you or points you in the right direction if you've got problems with your door latch and locking. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos, and please also take a look at my YouTube channel, because I've got more than 100 videos out there and there may be something that interests you. Thank you very much and good night.